And how have you actually overcome them as a team?
Who here's worked on a startup?
There's a couple of startups
yeah,
in the room.
it's my first experience, right? And it's been a while, right? And I'll be honest, it's been a wild ride, but probably the most fun I've ever had in my career, right? And also pretty scary at times, right? So when we started there, and the microwave's going, you're going, I don't know how we're actually going to get to actually making money for a customer. But probably the biggest one was, we've been lucky that we've been well backed, but we're entering a business that's actually quite a big scale business. So even to start, you don't start with a tiny product and a few boxes. You got to move things at volume, right? And so as a result, getting stuff to market with limited cash was probably our biggest challenge, right? And my grandmother used to say to me that you should build the same house 3 times. The first 2 times you get it wrong, the third time you get it right. I think it's the same thing to startups, right? So if I could go back, there's things that you do differently. But probably the biggest single one was that that cash burn, tight deadlines, that sort of frantic desire just to get in the market and start generating some revenue was sort of the overwhelming one. I also we had actually overbaked our MVP to start with, and I can say that with hindsight. We planned for probably a harder, faster start, and therefore, we always try and get that MVP low so you can get to market. But really managing that dynamic of I need everything to get trading versus I got limited runway and money was probably our number one challenge.
What did you sacrifice for your MVP? What did you trade off? Anything?
Well, it's just performance and scale. We didn't need those early, and so it was probably not as performant at the start as it was performant enough, but it wasn't. It's got a lot bigger now. That was certainly one. We really optimized for speed to market. I think we wanted to get features out and then iterate on them rather than building a lot of stuff. And having a very fully featured product. Where to start? The MVP one, it was really, we had a bunch of really smart, experienced people telling us what we needed to build. And the problem was out of 15 people, there were probably 30 different opinions as to what we should build.
Today.
And we built stuff and we didn't need it straight away. And I think the one thing that the biggest lesson would be to get in the market as early as possible and test and iterate rather than go, okay, I believe you, this is the right thing, let's do it. And that's probably my 1, 2, and 3 lesson is that, is this adding value? Do I need this? Do I need this to prove the core idea? And it's a hard one because before you've launched, I definitely need this and I need this. And it's hard to say no to those things. And if I was doing it all again, I would say no a lot more. And I would also ask for prove to me that, what data do you need to show that this is the right thing? And I would then go, how do I get that data?
I think one thing too, so I think, if I talk about our MVP, there's no doubt our business colleagues are driving that thing, but part of our own internal view, I've got to make sure it's robust enough to get to market. And part of that was because we're all in the industry, if you don't get it right, you'll never get the opportunity to fix it again. A big part of our approach was to give people the comfort and freedom that it's okay to get it wrong. It's okay to get it wrong. And as we've got more mature over the last year and got faster at diagnosing problems and fixing it, it actually means that the threshold can even be lower. It's okay, make a mistake, but the team's really good at diagnosing problems and getting them fixed. So, the angst about, oh God, are we ready? Have we got sufficient test coverage? I'm actually winding that back, not winding it forward, because we are still when you disrupt the market, it's amazing how much you've got to be humble enough to learn from what the market's going to tell you. And a lot of things we thought were wrong, we just proved to be not wrong, but not quite right? And the only way we're going to get those learnings is getting market. And so you just got to give everyone from your chairman, your CEO, your sales guys, and your and to be honest, our team who are building it and supporting it, the comfort that it's okay to get it wrong. you'll get it right quicker by getting it wrong, by getting in the market, you know, and adjusting. And it's been a journey for everyone to sort of, you know, to trust that that's going to happen. That, you know, yeah, okay, if I get it wrong, I'm not going to get nasty. But we have a culture of, you know, we build it, we break it, we fix it, right?
Right. One of them is around culture. I think you need to, if you're in a startup, you sort of need to go, what sort of culture do I need for this organisation to succeed, right? And actively think about it, and then intentfully build that culture. We needed everyone to be really bought in, to be willing to turn around to everything, to be able to negotiate and debate and discuss ideas without letting egos get in the way. We needed to be technically excellent. So we came up with a motto which was pragmatic excellence. We're very pragmatic about what we choose to do. We pressure test everything, go, is this valuable? Should we do it? Should we do it? Should we do it? The things we agree to do, we do really well. And you know, when we started, we effectively rented a culture. We had Cevo and Dias and so on, and they made up most of our team, and we were relying on their culture and behaviours and everything to help us get started. But you can't buy your culture from someone else. You grow it over time by the shared experiences of all the things that go right and the things you do, and also all the things that go wrong and how you respond to mistakes and challenges and the rest of it. And what has been interesting is as the consultants have slowly moved out, we've managed to maintain a very similar culture. It's slightly different bits, but it's very similar to what we wanted and what we got and what we needed to start. The other thing I've learned, which you alluded to, is that you really need to understand what the customers want and what the problems you're trying to solve. Okay, is what I'm doing adding value to that customer problem? And if you don't understand it, then you've got to go understand it with experiments or go observe them or whatever. Because I think came back to the other stuff, we built things we didn't need, so we didn't actually understand what the customer problems were. And once we're far more connected to them, we're far more insightful on what to build or what to do to solve their problems.
We have to know when to listen to our stakeholders and when to ignore them. Because we're blunt, you know, people come from an industry, even if you've got this transformational mindset, it is easy to creep back in, oh, this is the industry norm. And sometimes those industry norms are real, and if you try and challenge them day one, you will go broke. And some of the ones you have to challenge, and that's the art of the business.